Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Disco Kitty, the Crappy Crafter. We've had quite a busy week this week, huh? Last Sunday, I did stuff for Mariah Elizabeth's nail polish. And then on Wednesday, I did my regular upload, which tested out my old Copic markers. And then today we're going to be doing another specialty thing. This time, it's Jazza's Jazzy art box. Well, it's not the Jazzy art box. That was the first one. But it's Jazza's Spectrum Noir art box. I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to test these markers against my very old Copics, which probably don't even work like new Copics. But I'm really excited. I can't wait to try it out. So let's dive right in. All right, let's chop it up and see what's inside. There is so much tape in this box. Every piece has at least one of those little pieces of disc tape. Alright, a thank you with some promo codes. The Jazza beard stickers. Getting the perfectly sized box out of the box. Cutting more tape. The markers. I'm really excited about these. I used to use Copics all the time, but that was a long time ago. I want to see how they compare. Oh, more tape. They are packaged so nicely. "20 pages to color. 20 pages to draw in color. An eraser, a couple of sketching pencils. They are so light. I've never felt pencils that light before. The outliners. I'm excited to try them. I have used Copics and I have used Pigma microns, so I'm really excited to see how these will stand up to them. I'm really looking forward to the brush tip because I just love all brush tips, and I'm really hoping that this one will be really nice. Everybody says that it's really nice, so I'm excited. And now for the pencils. I'm really excited about the pencils because I've been using pencils a lot lately and really getting into it. So I want to see how they compare to my cheapo Crayolas. I'm sure they'll be great. These go down on the paper very well. They're very juicy and lovely. I will try a couple of techniques that I used to use with my old Copics, like a tip-to-tip transfer method, which in this particular version I don't choose good colors, so you can't really tell if it's worked or not. The blender works pretty well. There's the tip-to-tip. Trying to use two colors and it just doesn't. We'll try it again later. Here I try some blending. I've never been one for blending, so I don't really know what I'm doing. But it works pretty well, I guess. Testing out the two sketching pencils. They are so light. I just can't get over that. The eraser is a piece of crap, and I hate it. But that's okay. It's the only thing that I hate out of this. This brush pen, the outliner brush pen, was lovely. It was very sturdy, it was very solid. I'm afraid that it's just going to fray, but we'll see what happens. Testing out the pencils. They are very smooth on this paper. I wasn't sure if the paper was going to work. I'll say that again later, because it doesn't really have much tooth, but they go down very nicely. And the color selection, again, is very nice, very complimentary to the markers. The white, again, is crap. All white is crap. But it's okay. Here I'm going to do a side-by-side swatching comparison between the two brands, the Copics and the Spectrum Noir. I really can't tell a difference of how they go down on the paper. They're both very juicy. They both work pretty well. They didn't have colors that really match, so I can't match the colors. Here I'm going to try testing blending again, even though I don't know what I'm doing. But, I mean, they both seem to blend together pretty well, about the same on this paper. Hard saying. I don't know what I'm doing. And with that, it's time to actually get into the coloring. You'll notice I put a piece of paper down first because I'm afraid I didn't even look at the back of my swatching sheets, and I should have, because I don't know how badly these are going to bleed through. But they don't really, I mean, they bleed through, but they don't bleed onto like the next page, as it were. It didn't leave any marks on the page, except for where I can't color within the lines around the edges, of course. And that is probably a testament more for the page than for the markers, which is great. It all works very well together. I liked using these. They worked really well. And here's where I start layering colors to get interesting effects. That is very mottled. It is not a smooth blend. And that, I don't know if you can see it, but there's these fine little tiny white dots. It looked almost like bubbles. I don't know where it came from. I'm assuming that it's the paper. I have no idea. But again, texture. It left interesting texture. And here is where I ruin this poor child's hair. And I forgot to leave a highlight. I shouldn't have gone down with that brown. It was just awful all the way around. And now it just looks like a mottled, multicolored mess. And her skin, I felt, was too sand colored because it is sandstone. So I went down with the very light pink, and then I went down again with the sandstone, and that gave me just the perfect color that I wanted. And then the sandstone, of course, for the sand. Coloring in more of the little details. Here I'm going to color the grass green and then yellow layer over it because I didn't want it to be so dark. And the modeling effect gives it a good natural look. Going in with the house, I felt the blue was a little too blue, so I went in with the blender to make it lighter. Same thing with the roof with the brown and the door. And then the sunset sky. This was my first try attempting something quite like this. It came out pretty okay. It's alright. I ruined the clouds though. Oh, I just ruined the clouds. And you'll see how. I never should have gone in with that purple. That was just awful. That just made them look dirty. And the white pencil is no help because it does nothing. Now it's time to go in with the pencils. I'm going to use these mainly for shadows and touching up some of the colors, but mainly shadows. I will try to touch up a little bit of the sky and give shadows to the sand and the people. It works pretty well. These pencils go down very, very nicely over the marker on this paper. It works really well. I probably shouldn't have used the gray around the boy's face because it made it more highlights than shadows. And the only thing I didn't like about these pencils is how shiny they are on paper. When I showed this final product to my boyfriend, he said, "Well, it's drawn very nicely." Yeah, you're a real joker. I'll keep that one in mind. Here I am, still trying to fix up that poor belabored sky. I mean, I had tried to do a sunset with the elephants, but I didn't do it in quite the same way. I wanted to make this one less gradient, more kind of sketchy, and I think it worked pretty well. Overall, I think this worked really, really well. So, this is what I colored. I really messed up on the poor boy's hair. I meant to leave a space for highlights, just like I did with the girls, but I messed that up. And putting the yellow highlights into her hair was a step outside my boundaries. Is not usually something that I do, but I think it came out pretty well. Now I'm thinking I should have put that yellow line around the edge of her face and on the edge of her knuckles as well. You know, here and here, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe on the edge of her ear. I don't know. I don't do highlights very well. But overall, these worked pretty well. The paper was very, very smooth. I wasn't sure if it was going to actually work with the pencils. It didn't have much in the way of tooth, but the pencils glided on the paper very nicely. The markers were very nice. I did feel like there was a flow issue, like the tip would run out of ink faster than the barrel could supply it, but I probably do that with my Copics too. I don't know, it's been a long time since I've used them. But the one thing I was really worried about is how big they are. They don't seem big this way, but when you turn them to the side, there is a huge difference in the size. And that's okay. After I hurt myself at the beginning of the week, the bigger, fatter barrel was actually very comfortable, which surprised me. It took a little getting used to with the square edges, but yeah, I mean, it worked pretty well. The pencils are also pretty big compared to regular pencils. And they're not much bigger, but they're just big enough that they almost don't quite fit in my pencil sharpener. It was a snug fit, so I know that they're definitely bigger. Anyways, yeah, I think these all worked really well together. And I know I didn't use the outliners or the pencils that came with it. I probably won't use the pencils that come with it. I'm certainly not going to use that eraser, that solid block of plastic eraser. I don't like hard erasers. I don't know if it's me not understanding how to use it, but I did compare it with my soft eraser, and yeah, my Staedtler eraser works so much better than that other eraser, but that's really the only big beef that I have with this whole set. Honestly, worth the price. 20 pages to color, 20 pages to draw on and color for yourself. I'll probably do that at some point so that I can compare different fine liners, so I can do a direct comparison of markers to markers, of pencils to pencils. I have watercolor pencils and I have a whole bunch of Crayola pencils that I can compare with these. So at some point, if you want to see me do that, hit like and leave me a comment saying that you want to see a direct comparison, and we'll see what happens. Until then, stay safe. Hi, Loki. Have you come for a snuggle? Oh, you're just in time. Oh. Oh. He doesn't want to sniff you today. He wants to sniff my pencils. He's a good boy.